Hello, it's Amy Lee, the Productive Mama, and today I want to compare some popular small kitchen appliances, I guess you would call them. Um, an electric pressure cooker, a crock pot, a rice cooker, and two of the VitaClay. So this is especially to help you if you're considering a VitaClay and not really sure if you need one or which of these appliances might work best for your family. So all of these are similar in that they're going to make your life a lot easier. And they don't heat up your kitchen. That's another big bonus, especially in the warmer months. And you can also, most of them, program them to some degree, right? To cooking temperature or speed or start time. So we'll talk about some of that too. So the crock pot you can't see. And the reason I did that was because crock pots really, really can vary. There are tiny crock pots. There are really big ones. Mine is rather large here. And that size actually is one of the things I really like about my crock pot. If I just need a huge volume of food, I do like my slow cooker for that. But overall, you know, crock pot slow cookers are a great tool. If you have one and you're not using it, get it out and start using it. And you can really front load your dinner preparation. Now, some people do have some concerns because the crocks are usually glazed, and so there is some concern about lead in that. And you can do your own research as to if that's going to be a concern for you. The next appliance I want to mention is a rice cooker. Now, my rice cooker is also a VitaClay. This rice cooker from VitaClay is 11 years old maybe. So it looks a little different than most rice cookers. But a rice cooker is usually the smallest of these appliances, though you can get them huge too, but the typical family, I'd say. And while I will say they're the least versatile, they're actually more versatile than you probably think that they are. You can do a lot with your rice cooker. In fact, there's a great book, The Ultimate Rice Cooker Cookbook, that I've lent to some college students who are able to have a rice cooker in their dorm. So you can do, I hope you can see that, you can do rice, of course, but you can do other grains, breakfast grains, and you can actually do meals in the rice cooker with some creative tweaks. Rice cookers are often made of aluminum, just the average one you see, and some of them might have nonstick coating, so that is something for you to consider as well. Okay, pressure cookers. I'm talking mostly about electric pressure cookers. Most people call them Instapots, but that's actually not the brand name. They can also be used as slow cookers. There is a metal bowl in there. Let's see if I can do that. And they use pressure to cook things very quickly. So that's the biggest advantage most people find with the pressure cooker. So you've got your metal bowl in there, and I will say this is probably the lightest bowl. And I also know, unfortunately from experience, that if you dent the bowl, then you can't build pressure. You don't have that seal if you dent it anywhere along the rim. So just be aware of that. What else about pressure cookers? Oh, if you never defrost anything before you cook it, if you are just not that kind of meal planner, then the pressure cooker might be the way to go for you, because you can cook things from frozen in the pressure cooker, and that's not really recommended for these other cookers. I have found, so people like the pressure cookers because they're fast, but I have found that the speed of cooking beans and soups especially, but also whole chicken, is actually comparable to the VitaClays when you consider the pressure build time and the pressure release time in these electric pressure cookers, because while it might say to cook for 45 minutes, it does take a while to build up that pressure for that 45-minute countdown and then release it. So I have found that the VitaClays are really comparable, and that this doesn't save you that much time when it comes to those types of dishes. Okay, so the VitaClays, as you can probably tell, are made of clay. So you do need to treat it like a clay pot. They're beautiful. They're durable. They're really well made, but they are clay. This is I call it the stock pot. And it's great for soups, stews, beans, anything you have to boil. So like beans, broth. But I've actually ended up using it way more than I expected to, including cooking an entire dinner. And you can go look for my other video on that. This lid does come off completely, and you can see that there are some valves here. So moisture does evaporate from this, and you do need to make sure that there is a sufficient amount of liquid during cooking. And then the multi-cooker, the VitaClay Multi-Cooker, is probably the most versatile. I consider it a fast, slow cooker, but it's also a rice cooker. You can make yogurt in it. You can do a lot of things in it. I've done potatoes, grains, rice, obviously. Also done a whole chicken in this. Beans, yogurt, bone broth, and a lot more, but I definitely have experience with those. Now this one, you can see that the lid does have some holes in it, so it is vented, but when you put this lid down, it seals it. So then it does actually build slight pressure, which makes for a little bit of a faster cooking time. It is not a pressure cooker, but that is one of the ways that it works to cook so quickly, but with the same wonderful results of slow cooking. It has a delayed start, as does the electric pressure cooker. Your slow cooker might. For a long time, I don't know if this is still the case with slow cookers, it was really discouraged to have those delayed starts because companies didn't want you putting in raw meat to sit for hours and hours before it started cooking in a slow cooker. So just use your common sense when it comes to things like that. But I personally love a delayed start. I just love it. All of them do have warm or hold settings, so that if you did make your meal and it needed to sit for a while, it would be at the perfect temperature and ready to serve. Now, I have a detailed chart that compares 4 of these. It doesn't include the rice cooker on my detailed review blog, and I'll try to link that in the description, but I'm going to just look at that really briefly. I had to have notes because I just can't remember everything. So let me take a look at those and see if I missed anything. Okay, so all of these do need to have liquid in them. Your electric pressure cooker usually needs at least a cup of liquid, and your slow cooker needs a little bit of liquid too. None of these can do just completely dry cooking. The amount varies. You can read your instructions, but if you know that you're making a fatty piece of meat and that it's going to drip a lot of liquid, that's going to add to the liquid content, and you don't necessarily need to start with a ton of liquid. We've talked about the materials. Something important, I think is important. One of the features I really like about the VitaClays is that you can open them during cooking. If you're pressure cooking in your electric pressure cooker, once it starts cooking, you cannot open it up. So if you forget an ingredient or there's something you don't want to cook as long, not going to work. If you use this like a slow cooker, you have more flexibility with that. Your crock pot, you can open that up during cooking. Oftentimes, though, that's going to sacrifice your cooking time, meaning you might have to add cooking time. If you open up that lid and you let that heat out, it's going to take a while to rebuild that cooking temperature, so you might need to add time to your cooking. The VitaClays, you do not sacrifice that cooking time, so you can taste it, adjust it, add ingredients you don't want cooking as long, and you will still have the same cooking time, which again is fast slow cooking. One thing that, probably one of my favorite things about an electric pressure cooker that these others don't have, is that it has a saute feature, so that you can put in your onions, your garlic, your celery, saute them, add your other ingredients, and then set it to cook. That is nice that it has that feature where these others don't. The inserts of all of these are heavy when compared to the metal that I showed you earlier of the electric pressure cooker. So just something to consider if you might have limited abilities for lifting, carrying these things across the kitchen. I know that is an issue for some people. And then I'm just sort of trying to give you an idea of the profile so you can see that the pressure cooker, I know you don't have, I didn't want to put the brand totally in view, but the pressure cooker is similar to the stock pot, though the stock pot's actually a little skinnier. And then this multi-cooker actually looks really small compared to this, but that's because it's oblong. So it does have a slightly larger footprint on your counter, but the profile does not stand up as high, and it does have this nice carrying handle too. So there you go. There's a comparison of these 5 kitchen tools, all designed to make your life easier, but hopefully that will give you the information you need to make the best choice for your family.